Talking a little Lions football, they did make a roster move today, officially announcing the signing of Michigan Panthers kicker Jake Bates. I think everybody's excited about that. 2-year deal worth $1.98 million. It is $150,000 guaranteed up front. So good for Jake Bates. This guy took a UFL contract and made the best of it. So he is on his way here to Detroit or staying here.
Probably doubled his salary in one bonus.
Probably
right there.
tripled
probably
it.
quadrupled
it.
Yeah.
But today the team announced
I don't like this.
that they have waived James Turner.
I don't like this.
The national championship
be
winning field goal kicker of the Michigan Wolverines. So the Detroit Lions announcing that. I don't know if you have that tweet as well. Perhaps not. But
doesn't matter.
Nonetheless, just want to show the people how official it is. It came from the Lions official channel. So, James Turner, I'm surprised by that.
I was looking for a 3-man fight.
I guess I just don't understand why you can't let it go to camp unless they've seen everything they needed to see out of James Turner, and he's just not the guy. I would say, so much of football is mental too. Like, you got a guy that can make championship winning kicks. It's not just swinging it with nothing on the line.
Right.
Not saying that Jake Bates is just swinging it with nothing on the line. But
he's swinging it with not the same guys rushing him.
Yeah.
Not the same guy holding him, and it's going to be different for him.
Yeah, look, University of Michigan.
Let it play out is what I'm saying.
I'm currently wearing University of Michigan, so I support my guys. I think this is one of those things where kicker has been a sore spot for the Lions for the last, 4 years, 5 years or so. It's a sore spot. It's a very, very mentally strong spot. So what you got to do is you want those players to feel more confident swinging those kicks. You got 2 guys. Let those guys fight it out. Let those guys get confidence, and one of them is going to be the guy versus 3 guys, 4 guys, and now you're trying to figure it out. So I think they just want to limit the amount of thought that these kickers are putting into making these kicks during the season, KG.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's the opposite. I think they like what they saw in Jake Bates so much that they wanted to pit him.
We did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they wanted to pit him against a veteran as opposed to having a 3-man run or a undrafted rookie versus a UFL kicker. But I believe that if he comes in and does what we know he can do, then it's his job to have. I mean, they gave him a 2-year deal. Clearly, they like what they see out of this kid, and I think he's your kicker going forward.
I think this is what you can enjoy about the UFL, though. 2 leagues merged, USFL, the XFL, they merged, and now you're seeing quality football. Games were much better this year. The talent pool is much better than the UFL as a whole. I think you'll start seeing this more and more. You'll see players being added from the UFL coming to the NFL. So the more players you have, the more eyes you'll start to get on the UFL as well. So kudos to the UFL and shout out to the Rock, who everything he touched seems to go gold, the final boss.
They had about 28,000 in St. Louis to watch that game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty good, pretty darn good. I know the USFL had about 60,000 back in the 80s to watch the Panthers and the Stars for that opening championship. So it's not the same as it was back in the 80s. You had players coming from college.
Yeah.
You had Mike Rozier. You had Herschel Walker. This is a league. It's a developmental league. I think they did a nice job. I didn't watch a lot of it, to be honest with you. But you hear about this kid kicking, Bates. Yeah. But Turner, man, was money this year for a national championship team. And I'm not a big fan of Badgley. I know he hit the 54-yarder against the Rams.
He's still there. It'll be a two-person competition.
I'll tell you this. The Packers have Anders Carlson, very underwhelming rookie season. They're going to get the loser of Bates, and I really believe Turner will kick for an NFL team. So you got to be careful who you let go. Obviously, the Lions thought enough of Bates to not let him go interview with Green Bay.
And that's why the 2-year deal, obviously, right? I mean, you have to give him a 2-year deal so he comes to you and doesn't go somewhere else that's, more enticing or whatever. And look, I'm a big fan of Jake Bates. I think he did awesome. He made a name for himself. He's got a big leg. He can kick it. Obviously from 60, made a couple of field goals from 60 out. I just don't know how much this football team in particular is going to be swinging it from over 60 yards. I don't know.
At least it gives you an opportunity.
It's nice to have it.
Yeah, it is nice to have it in your bag. I mean, at the end of half, at the end of a game, if you're in a desperate situation, to be able to pull that out of your bag, it absolutely does. But you got to be perfect from under 50. You got to be perfect from under 50. And he was perfect in the 40s. I think he had trouble in the 30s, actually. I don't have the game log in front of me right now.
That's the extra point.
47 yards.
So we'll see what happens. I like the fact that Turner's a national champion.
Yeah.
He's kicked field goals in huge games, in big spots, in big moments. Penn State, Ohio State, the Rose Bowl. National championships on the line, extra points, and you may laugh at extra points. Extra points they add up.
That's why we hating on Badgley.
Yeah,
Badgley missed some extra points.
You miss some of those, and again, I don't know the roster configuration or the roster limitations to try to figure out why that couldn't play out. Here's the good news. Here's the good news. The Lions are taking their kicking position seriously.
Yes, finally.
I think that's really,
Maz is happy.
They'll keep both. One will be a practice squad.
I don't
player.
know if you keep two
I'm
kickers.
telling you, man, they will keep both.
See, if that was the case, then I absolutely would have kept Turner.
Yeah.
Make them kick off guy.
I don't think they're keeping two kickers.
Okay.
Plus, you got Jack Fox still for kickoff. So
I don't think you're keeping two kickers.
This guy Bates was a kickoff specialist before he was a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
So he might be your kickoff guy. And don't forget, it's the new kicker. It's the new kickoff.
Yeah. But again, I think there's something to be said about the fact that the Lions are taking their kicking position seriously. From re-signing Badgley to bringing in Turner from Michigan, who they ultimately let go today, to signing Jake Bates to a 2-year deal. This is something that probably prevented them from making the Super Bowl last year and winning the NFC Championship. This particular position, and they've addressed it.
Yeah, 100%. We've talked about, I've listened to Maz talking to, he's blue in the face about the kicking situation, talking about the kickers and what we need and why we can't do this and why Dan Campbell goes for it. The Patriots game, I think, is when Maz was at his wits' end. Patriots game 2 years ago, that Maz was at his wits' end. So I'm glad to see, for my man Tom Mazaway, they're taking this serious. And this will help them.
Just get me a kicker.
That you got a guy in the bag. Look, you can go for it the most. You can have the best percentages. But there are going to be times or two where, the field goal is just a move to make. Yeah. And I think having a guy like that in your back pocket, you can have more confidence. And you go through games a little more unscathed at that decision.
It is called football.
This is true. Yeah. This is true.
And with these new kickoff
soccer players
rules,
get pissed at you, though.
I know.
With these new kickoff rules, I feel like it's important, too, to have a guy that can hit from 60+, knowing going in that you can damn near get the ball guaranteed at the 35 or 40, and you only got to get 2 first downs to have at least guaranteed points on the board. Yeah. I think that's important. And another thing that's flying under the radar is that the Lions take special teams the most serious out of any other team in the league. You got Dave Phipp, probably the best special teams coach in the league. So I think they can do a lot with this kid, especially, like I said, if he can hit 60+ consistently and all you got to do is get past midfield, that does wonders for the offense.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Jerry Rossberg, I told you a story about him. He was my special teams coach when I was with the Cleveland Browns, one of the best to ever do it. 3 phases, all of them are very important. And you look at this, for as much as we talk about yards increasing, touchdowns increasing, blah, 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 the NFL in the past 3 years, KG, it's gone down in terms of scoring. In terms of scoring, the NFL has gone down over the last 3 years consecutively, which means field goals, Maz, are very important to this game. The average scoring, it's gone down each year the last 3. So field goals at 3 points, you get 4 of those, you go 3 of those games, 9 points. It goes a long way in this new NFL.